Welcome back to the deep dive. We always love tackling big questions here, and this one might take the cake. We're diving into the nature of reality itself.
Yeah, thanks to you, dear listener, for suggesting these fascinating concepts.
It's quite the ambitious undertaking, I must say. But I do think there's a lot to unpack here. We're talking about solipsism, parallel universes, morphogenetic fields, and the collective unconscious.
Just a light little stroll through some of the biggest mysteries of existence.
Precisely.
But hey, that's what we do here. And who knows, maybe by weaving these seemingly separate ideas together, we'll stumble upon some unexpected connections, some aha moments that shift how we see things.
Well said. It's those moments of insight that I find so exhilarating. That's what makes these deep dives worthwhile. Absolutely. So let's start with the most fundamental question of all. What is real? And that leads us right to the doorstep of solipsism. Now, for our listener who suggested this, the essence of solipsism is the idea that the only thing you can truly be certain of is your own consciousness. Everything else, the entire external world, might just be a figment of your imagination.
That's the core of it. The I is the only undeniable reality in solipsism. Everything else is, well, potentially just a projection of your own mind. It's a radical idea, no doubt.
It is a very radical idea. It makes you question everything. Your sources brought up the analogy of a dream, which is quite powerful. You know, what you're dreaming, everything feels completely real, right?
Yeah.
But then you wake up and it's gone. Poof. So a solipsist might say, well, what if our waking life is just another kind of dream? A more persistent dream, sure, but a dream nonetheless.
Precisely. When you shift your attention away from something, does it truly cease to exist? Or does it simply fade from your personal reality? It's a question that's hard to wrap your head around for sure.
You know what's interesting is how this idea of reality being dependent on the observer kind of reminded me of something from quantum physics, the observer effect. You've been digging into quantum mechanics, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a fascinating realm.
Yeah, so for our listeners who might not be as familiar, the observer effect is this weird thing in quantum mechanics where the very act of observing a particle can actually influence its behavior. It's like the particle doesn't have definite properties until someone looks at it.
Yeah, and that's a core concept in quantum mechanics. It suggests that reality at the subatomic level isn't fixed until it's measured or observed.
Exactly. So could it be that solipsism isn't just some philosophical thought experiment, but maybe there's a real connection there at the quantum level? Could it be that reality itself only solidifies when there's a you there to perceive it?
That's a profound parallel and one that's explored in depth in some of the sources you shared. The idea that consciousness might not just be a passive observer of reality, but maybe an active participant in its creation. It's a perspective that completely upends our conventional understanding of how the universe works. And it leads to some truly mind-boggling implications.
Yeah, tell me about it. Okay, so if we go down this rabbit hole, it makes you wonder about other people, right? Like, are they truly separate consciousnesses or maybe
Yeah,
different aspects of your own consciousness?
exactly. Solipsism takes it to that level. It suggests that other individuals' consciousness might not be entirely independent entities, but rather facets or extensions of your own. It's like different characters in the play of your mind. So, in a solipsistic view, everyone you encounter, everyone you interact with, it could all be a part of you in a way.
Whoa, okay, so that guy who cut me off in traffic this morning, the barista who made my coffee, they're all just me. Different sides of my own consciousness playing out in this grand cosmic drama.
That's the essence of the solipsistic perspective, and it certainly challenges our everyday assumptions about the nature of self and other.
Okay, so let's say, just for the sake of exploration, that there's something to this solipsism idea. What are the implications? Does it even matter if it's true or not?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Whether solipsism is ultimately true or not, the very act of considering it forces us to confront the limits of our knowledge and the subjective nature of experience. It makes us reevaluate what we truly know and how we perceive the world around us.
Right, like it makes you stop and think about the assumptions we make about reality every single day. It's a real head trip.
It definitely is. But let's not get too lost in the subjective world of solipsism just yet. You also send over some really interesting material on parallel universes, specifically the many worlds interpretation.
Yeah, that's a whole other layer of mind-blowing stuff. So for our listeners who are just tuning into this particular brand of crazy, the many worlds interpretation basically says that every time there's a quantum measurement, the universe splits, creating a new reality for each possible outcome. So every decision, every event, every tiny little quantum interaction is creating countless new universes, each with a slightly different version of events playing out. Infinite possibilities, infinite universes, branching out like some cosmic tree of existence.
It's a truly staggering concept, and it might seem like it completely contradicts the idea of solipsism, right? If there are countless other universes, each with its own objective reality, how can it all be just a projection of one individual consciousness?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. But then I got to this really intriguing passage in one of your sources. It suggested that maybe consciousness isn't static, stuck in one universe. Maybe it's constantly navigating these branching realities, shifting onto different timelines with each choice you make.
Yes. That's a brilliant way to reconcile these seemingly opposing ideas. Imagine you, not as a singular entity, but as a thread of consciousness, weaving its way through this vast tapestry of parallel universes. You're not just one you, but countless versions of you experiencing different lives, making different choices across this infinite multiverse.
So picture this. The universe isn't just a single thing, but this ever-expanding fractal made up of
Yeah.
all these possible yous. Every decision you make, every path you don't take, creates a new branch in this cosmic web of existence.
Precisely. And that perspective really highlights the significance of every choice we make, no matter how small. We're not just affecting our immediate reality, but potentially creating entire new universes where those choices play out differently.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Every little decision could have cosmic consequences. Okay, so we've got this universe, maybe even multiverse. Maybe it's all just my imagination. Maybe it's not. It's a lot to process. But there was one more concept you sent that really caught my eye. Morphogenetic fields.
Ah, yes, Rupert Sheldrake's intriguing theory. It adds another layer of complexity, but also, I think, a sense of structure and interconnectedness to this whole cosmic puzzle.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this one. From what I understand, morphogenetic fields are these kind of invisible blueprints that influence the form and behavior of living things. But it's not just about individual organisms, right? You were saying it can apply to the universe as a whole.
That's right. Sheldrake's theory suggests that these fields aren't limited to biology, but extend to the very fabric of reality. So imagine it like this. The universe itself possesses a kind of memory, an inherent tendency to repeat and refine patterns over time. These patterns, encoded in the morphogenetic field, guide the formation and evolution of everything, from galaxies to planets to life itself.
So it's like instead of everything just being random, there's this underlying order, this memory of previous forms and behaviors that guides the development of the universe.
Exactly. Think of it like a cosmic library where the patterns of existence are stored and accessed. And here's where the connection to parallel universes gets really interesting. If these fields exist on such a fundamental level, they could potentially span multiple universes, creating a subtle resonance or connection between them.
So even if each universe has its own unique timeline and set of events, there could be this underlying layer of shared patterns and information, kind of like a cosmic blueprint that connects them all.
Precisely. And that could explain some of the strange, seemingly inexplicable phenomena that we sometimes experience, things like instincts, those inborn behaviors that animals seem to know without any prior learning. How does a spider know how to weave a web? A bird know how to build a nest?
Right. Or intuition, those sudden flashes of insight that seem to come out of nowhere. Or even synchronicities, those meaningful coincidences that make you wonder if there's something more at play than just random chance. Could these be glimpses into this underlying interconnectedness?
It's certainly a possibility, and it challenges the purely materialistic view of the universe, suggesting that there are forces at work that we don't fully understand, forces that connect us in ways that go beyond our everyday perception.
Okay, this is getting really deep, really fast. But we've got one more big idea to explore. The collective unconscious. This one was Carl Jung's baby, right?
Oh, that's right. Jung proposed that beneath our individual unconscious minds, there lies a deeper shared layer of consciousness that he called the collective unconscious. It's a realm of universal archetypes, these primordial patterns and symbols that are embedded in the psyche of all humanity.
So it's like we're all tapping into this same wellspring of ancient wisdom, these universal themes that resonate across cultures and throughout history. The hero, the villain, the wise old man, the mother figure. These archetypes appear again and again in myths, stories, dreams, and religions all over the world.
Exactly. And the sources you shared take this concept even further, extending it beyond just humanity to encompass the entire cosmos. What if all consciousness in the universe, from the simplest organisms to the most complex beings, stems from a single interconnected source? A cosmic consciousness, if you will.
So in this view, our individual consciousnesses aren't separate entities, but more like waves on a vast ocean of universal consciousness. It's a beautiful, if mind-boggling, image. And it connects back to the idea of morphogenetic fields, doesn't it? The universe itself as a living conscious entity with memory, patterns, and an inherent drive toward self-organization.
It does indeed. Imagine a cosmic consciousness field, a realm where all thoughts, emotions, memories, and experiences are somehow stored and contribute to the ongoing evolution of the universe. It's a perspective that truly challenges the boundaries between mind and matter, suggesting that they're not separate entities but intertwined aspects of a single interconnected reality.
And when you throw parallel universes into the mix, the implications become even more mind-blowing. If different timelines share this underlying subconscious structure, could there be a subtle form of communication or influence between consciousnesses in different realities?
That's where things get really speculative, but incredibly intriguing. Could phenomena like precognitive dreams, sudden bursts of inspiration, or even those uncanny synchronicities that seem to defy coincidence be explained by a kind of crosstalk between parallel consciousnesses?
Okay, so let's try to bring all these incredible ideas together to see if we can make sense of this cosmic puzzle. We started with solipsism, the radical notion that maybe the universe is ultimately a projection of your own consciousness.
Then we explored the mind-bending possibilities of parallel universes, countless realities branching off with every quantum event, each potentially hosting a different version of you.
We delved into Rupert Sheldrake's theory of morphogenetic fields, suggesting that the universe has a kind of memory, an inherent tendency towards self-organization, guided by patterns encoded in these invisible fields.
And finally, we explored Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious, extended to encompass the entire cosmos, hinting at a deep wellspring of shared consciousness connecting all beings in the universe.
It's a lot to take in, but when you consider these ideas together, they start to paint a very different picture of reality than the one we're often presented with. It's not just a cold, empty, mechanical universe, but a living, breathing, conscious entity, a universe where mind and matter are inseparably intertwined.
And our place within this universe is far more dynamic and interconnected than we might have imagined. We're not just passive observers on this cosmic stage, but active participants, our consciousness potentially influencing and being influenced by the universe in ways we're only beginning to grasp.
And that, I think, is a powerful and empowering thought. It suggests that we're not just insignificant specks in a vast, indifferent cosmos, but integral parts of a greater whole, our thoughts, emotions, and actions rippling out into the fabric of reality itself.
Exactly. And that leads me to a final thought for you, our dear listener, who brought these fascinating ideas to our attention. If the universe is not just something we observe, but something we actively participate in shaping through our consciousness and our choices, what incredible possibilities does that open up for you? How might this new perspective shift your understanding of your own existence and your place in the grand scheme of things?
That's a great question to ponder. I think this deep dive has given us a lot to chew on. Solipsism,
Right.
parallel universes, morphogenetic fields, the collective unconscious. These are big, challenging, mind-bending ideas, but they offer a glimpse into a universe that's far more mysterious and awe-inspiring than we might have ever imagined.
And it's a journey that's just beginning. Each of these concepts is a doorway to a vast and largely unexplored territory. If you're feeling adventurous, I encourage you to keep exploring, to keep asking questions, and to see where these ideas lead you.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of the universe, both within and without.